Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is Wisdom Well Wednesday, and today we are doing tarot and shadow work. We're going to be talking about how your tarot deck can help you with your shadow work and what shadow work is. So we're going to go through the basics of it. It's all about self-discovery and healing.
Have you ever felt like there was a part of you hiding in the shadows? What if I told you that by exploring these hidden aspects of yourself through tarot, you could unlock profound insights and transformative healing? By diving into powerful connections between tarot and shadow work, we can use this ancient tool to illuminate your inner self and embrace your true potential.
Okay, so we have shadow work. What is shadow work? Shadow work is all about finding the parts of you that are either perceived as negative or are things that you don't fully utilize. You kind of have them hidden away. These could be positive things as well, and we'll cover that later in this lesson. However, it's very much about like shadow work's all about bringing those to the surface, coming to terms with them, perhaps healing from them or owning them. You can literally own your shadow work, and that is this whole thing of self-acceptance and utilizing those part of you for greater good, for getting things done, and for just continuing on your path in a more authentic and a more healed way. You can do this with other ways as well. You don't just have to do this with tarot. You can do this, of course, through things like journaling. You can do this where you just kind of go inward and you have what's called a dark night of the soul, where you just kind of like bring up all of your stuff and deal with it. It's not just one night, though. People think it's just one. It's an ongoing thing. Um, you, of course, can use your tarot and or your intuition for dealing with your shadow work and working through it. The benefits of doing this is, of course, self-discovery, discovering parts about yourself that you either didn't know that you had or didn't know that you could utilize. You could also have more of a self-awareness by doing this and understand why you think and do things the way that you do. Maybe catch yourself in a negative aspect before it goes blown out of proportion. You can also go through a lot of emotional healing. So especially traumas and stuff that have maybe brought on some limiting beliefs, or just the trauma in general. You can do a lot of healing emotionally as well as others within this. It's also about taking responsibility for yourself and your actions, understanding yourself at a much deeper level, and like I said, owning it really is like owning it, right? It can help with improved relationships, so knowing yourself better, accepting yourself better, loving yourself better, because it's all part of a self-love thing as well. You can then expect more from others. So if you fully love and accept yourself, thoughts and all, so can others that can come into your life and love you for who you are, thoughts and all as well. It's a very big empowerment piece as well when we look at the part of ourselves that we don't want to look at normally. There's a huge empowerment factor there because you're actually being brave and you're confronting your traumas or your negative self or gifts that you have pushed to one side, right? That you have disowned. Parts of yourself that you've disowned, pieces of you that are no longer connected in a stronger way that it could be. And it's a way of bringing yourself back to that whole. Of course, then it's personal growth as well. It's bringing you into a more mature state, being able to learn from the past, gain wisdom, and of course, that whole self-acceptance piece is a huge factor in growing. And then, of course, you integrate that all together. You integrate all of your your realizations and your healing, and you bring that all into your everyday life. So this is a really wonderful healing journey, and it is a journey. Again, it's not a one-off thing. It's something you work at like with anything else. It's just like with self-love. It's not just waking up one day and saying, I'm happy with myself. It's this ongoing process of bringing up things that maybe you didn't even know were involved. And it's a lot of stuff. So don't go in thinking it's just the one day or an hour or something of work. It is pretty much an ongoing thing. It does get better and easier though as you do it. It's nothing to be feared. So some common misconceptions about shadow work. So, of course, it's not just about negativity, it is positive things. It's maybe skills or sort of aspects of yourself that are not considered bad or negative that you've just disowned or you've just pushed to one side, you've forgotten about. And so these qualities, it's really important to bring back because these are your gifts, right? As well as the negative. Negative is also your gifts, but you're bringing in these positive things that you might have left behind or neglected. Some people believe that it's only for people that are super troubled, like psychological issues or very deep traumas. That's not the case. Everybody can benefit and needs to do their shadow work because everyone has parts of them that they don't like, right? Everyone has something, a negative belief about themselves or a gift that they don't use anymore, or just an understanding of the world that is perhaps incorrect, like their place in the world they perceive as one way and it's not at all. They're actually bigger and better than they could ever have imagined, right? So that's another misconception. I already kind of said this, it's not a quick fix. People think it's just a one and done. It's really not. It is an ongoing thing, just like a self-love thing, just like learning a new skill, just like any kind of self-growth. It is something that we do hopefully on a daily basis, especially at the beginning, at least on a regular basis, just to check in with ourselves, see what needs healing, see what's coming up for you. And it gets easier. It really does. The first couple of times it can be quite a lot, especially if you don't really know exactly what you're doing. But then after that, it's just a process that you go through, and it's like a cleansing, like taking a shower every day, right? It's that kind of thing. um, which is a bit harder than taking a shower every day, but go there. Um, some people believe that you have to do it by yourself, although it is all about an inward thing. It's all about connecting to yourself and discovering yourself. You can do it with other people. You can join a group and do it. You could do it with some friends. If it's to do with a certain event or a certain negative belief or something, maybe find people with the same issues and go work through it together, go learn from each other, go see how they deal with certain things, and just, you know, have that strength in numbers, have that support system around you as well. But it is also very important to do the inner work by yourself as well. But sometimes we do actually want to do it with others too, and that is good. That is fine as well. And ask for help. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do this alone. Um, Lots of people think that shadow work is something to be feared. It's really not. Like, yes, you're confronting the shadow of yourself, the dark spaces of yourself that can be the unknown. It can be bringing up some things that you maybe didn't want to bring up about yourself. And it is fearful. It can be painful. But if you do it in a loving way, from a non-judgmental way, if you can do it with a support system as well, it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be this awful chore that you have to do. It can be something that you enjoy doing. It can be something that you want to do, you look forward to, and you want to delve deeper into your soul. So this episode, of course, is all about shadow work with tarot. So we're going to talk very, very briefly about tarot because I've done many episodes, all on the screen now, um, for various different types of using your tarot. This is just another in the long line of that. Or how many have I done? 5 already. So this is number 6 that's to do with tarot since the beginning of 2025. So very briefly though, tarot is a deck of cards that we use. It's usually 78 cards. Sometimes it's like 79, sometimes very rarely it's a different number completely, but usually it's a deck of 79 cards, and they all have meanings, and they have pictures, and you can get a deck of anything at all that you like, that you think the artwork is pretty, or it's a thing that you enjoy. So for example, my favorite deck is called the Druid Craft, and so it's a connection to because I'm from England, so it's a connection to that Celticness, and it's got mythology in there, from the UK, and all of that kind of loveliness. So this is one that I really, really love. You can even get ones that are like from your favorite TV show, for example. So if you really love TV or movies or whatever, there's so many different ones that you can get for those. For example, there's Game of Thrones one, very, very cool, and a supernatural one. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? So it's actually got the characters, usually, as the different people in the deck. So in a normal deck, you've got like the Empress and the Emperor, and the High Priestess, the Magician. So when you're doing it with a deck that's from a favorite TV show or a favorite movie or something, usually the character that most corresponds to that can be, anyway, going off on a tangent. It's just a way of saying that it's a way of learning what the decks mean as well, what the cards mean, from learning from your TV show or whatever. Anyway, going off on a tangent. But anyway, so your tarot deck has pretty pictures that hopefully you like and that you resonate with. And what you're going to do is you're going to use this to help you through your shadow work. So it's going to become a bit of like your best friend during this time. It's going to help you and it support you, and it's going to give you advice during your shadows work. If you have any other stuff about tarot that you want to know about, just check out the other videos, or send me a message and I will answer them. So how do we combine tarot with our shadow work? Well, first off, you can just do the really simple kind of one where you just pick a card, any card. So you think about like, what is my shadow self? And you pick a card. My one happens to be the Chariot. So what you would do is you would look at the image, and what comes up for you when you look at the image, what's that telling you about what your shadow self is, for example. You can also do what it actually is meant to mean, like what the actual card does mean, but you can just look at the colors or the symbols or the feelings that come up for you when you see this card. You might just automatically know, like, rushing into things without, just constantly moving, constantly going everywhere. So you can use them with your journal prompts. So if you do journaling and stuff, when you have a question about your shadow self, you can pick a card as well and just randomly pick a card and see what comes up for that one. And then what you can do is, rather than just interpreting it, you can have it there while you're journaling to draw the inspiration as you're journaling your answer. Visualization, you can do techniques where you do meditations and stuff, visualizations and things. You can either randomly pick a card, or you can pick a card that you resonate with, or the kind of one that you want to help you embody that kind of essence of that card, to help you through that particular shadow side of you. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong in anything that I tell you guys. You do you, always. I'm just telling you random little bits and pieces that you can get inspiration from, but at the end of the day, this is always your work. This is always what is good for you, and that is what you're going to go with. You can do character exploration. So, for example, the Fool's Journey, which I did a video on before, is the Fool card, is the 0 card in the tarot. And as you go along, what we call the major arcana, the main cards in the deck, it's his journey through his life. And we can correspond that to our own lives. We can correspond that to movies, like plots of movies and stuff. But there's that, or there's like the hermit's journey and stuff like that. Like, pick a character from the tarot deck and follow their journey. And what does that mean to you? And how does that help you understand your journey through your work and through your shadow work and through your life? You can do dream work with it, and that's just either, again, randomly pulling a card or choosing a card and then going to sleep. Look at it, go to sleep, like with it under your pillow or next to your bed, and see what comes up in your dreams, to do with that card or to do with your shadow side. You can do things like affirmations where you've been inspired by the cards, whether they are keywords that they are more the keywords that they have, or they usually are, or what comes up for you when you look at the card itself. Same thing with like art. You could actually, if you're a painter or you do any kind of art, you can draw or paint your tarot card, like one that embodies your shadow side at that moment that you want to go through, and use the tarot in that way to heal and realize and overcome and incorporate. And then, of course, we have a sample spread. I've just made this up. It's just to give you an idea. Please do either use it or just have it as inspiration and write your own questions. Put the cards out in whatever spread that you want to use. We're just going to do a 5-card spread now.
Our first card is the shadow. So this is what's hiding in the darkness. How we can identify what our current shadow concern is. So it's all the hidden things, maybe emotional, maybe a belief or a behavior that needs attention, perhaps some fear or guilt, self-doubt or anger. And I poured the Prince of Pentacles. So, for example, this could mean that there's a shadow aspect around stability or my place in the world, something along those lines. It may also be to do with trying to shield myself from emotions or the world in general. It's, mainly about stability for this one. The next card is the lesson. So this is how we can get insight and understanding the purpose behind confronting the shadow aspect and how to do that. How to uncover unresolved wounds or unmet needs. Pretty much just, why you have it. And I got the 2 of Pentacles. So for example, that could be that I need to be more balanced, go within and become more aligned to what I need and what I want. It might involve some juggling of a lot of aspects of the life, or just being able to stand steadfast through the chaos or ride the waves. The third card, we're asking, how does this affect my waking life? So it's literally just understanding how the subconscious influences the shadow, how it's affecting your everyday life. My example here is the 8 of Swords. This could be that I'm feeling trapped. It's a self-imposed trap, my own worst enemy kind of thing, but I feel trapped nonetheless. That is what the shadow is making me feel on an everyday basis. Card number 4, we ask, how should I approach this darkness? So this is how to develop a strategy to overcome, or some way that you need to take action or come to terms with the shadow side, how to work with it. I got the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords could be, don't let it defeat me. Don't let it win. Like really fight and know my power and go get it. Go get what I want and don't let my shadow stand in my way. So then the final card in this example would be the integration. Like, how do we go about making our shadow work mean something? How do we heal from it? How do we get over this or come to terms with it, or find out the lessons? Things like that. And are there any practical steps or advice, any action or anything that needs to be taken? My example here is the Ace of Wands. It's pretty much about being brave and taking that leap, right? With enthusiasm, with passion, even intuitiveness, like tap into myself and bring that light back, because a lot of these cards are darker cards, right? Or they're ones that feel restrictive or boxed in. The Ace of Wands is the freedom. It's the way out, and it's the joy that comes with that.
So I hope that's given you some ideas of how to use the tarot for your shadow work and what shadow work is. So if you have any questions, please do either comment or send me a private message. I absolutely will answer all of them and help you through your own journey and give you any advice or answer your questions. As always, please do like, share, press the notification, subscribe, all of those good things. Next week, we are doing Astrology 101, Unlocking the Secrets of the Stars. And I have a special announcement next week as well. So please do tune in to that. And until next week, it was lovely to have you here, and I will see you on next week's Wisdom Well Wednesdays.
From the Wisdom Well, keep shining, continue learning, and stay curious. Until next Wednesday.